You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 20.
Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from Educalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm good and also a little bit nervous because today we're doing something different. I'm actually recording on my own today, so let's try this out and see where it goes. The fact that it's a little bit scary tells me that this is something I should definitely try. So I'm recording this on Friday. This episode is going to come out on Monday. And this week has been quite exciting. Lots of things happening. On Monday, I was at a school for the 6th time this year. And each time I was there, I was teaching kids how to respond to big emotions. So that was such a great experience. And this school has 6 set wellness days in their school year that they decide at the beginning of the school year, which I think is such an amazing idea to make sure that we take the time to teach them all of these important concepts. So that's been such a wonderful experience. I loved working there. And yesterday I did a 3-hour workshop with people who work with preschooled aged children. And it was just so much fun. It was at camp. So it wasn't like in a classroom or in their regular environment. So just that could tell that the energy was so nice. I started out by teaching them how they could take care of themselves, how they could implement a mindfulness practice in their own lives. And then we talked about how they can implement this with the kiddos in their lives. And lastly, we ended with an hour yin yoga class. And it was all so good. And I loved to connect with this group. And I got to chat with them after. And we just had such good conversations. And I really hope I get to work with them again. And while I was out and about with these schools, Kaylee has been working on a super, super exciting project that we are about to share with you real soon. We're so excited about it, but it's a big secret for now. But we'll be starting to share the details real soon, so stay tuned for that. This week, I just wanted to chat with you about some of the things that Kaylee and I learned just going in numerous different schools over the past year. We kind of had the chance to observe the culture of just different schools from different school divisions. And it's just been so interesting. And also just some of the things that we learned through running this business. This business really we just launched officially at the end of August. So it hasn't even been a full 10 months yet. And we have just grown so much since the beginning. So today's just about sharing some of those things that we've just learned and observed over the past 10 or so months. One of the things that stood out the most to us as we were chatting about this was that the schools that had the most positive energy, the happiest teachers and students, and just a really welcoming atmosphere, what we noticed was common between all of these schools was that the administrators were very, very present in the school. Like, as in, we would go do workshops with the students and the administrators would actually show up to the workshop, and some of them would even participate for the whole 15 minutes or however long the workshop was, they would actually take part in it. And another thing that we really noticed too was that we'd often, if we were somewhere for a whole day, we would eat lunch in their staff room. And the schools that we noticed that the administrators came and actually hung out with the teachers during lunch, you could just tell that the teachers and just the school, everyone was just so happy. It was so nice to see. So that was just such a huge takeaway for us. And, it could be that we just happen to land at those schools on the days that the principal had the time to participate or whatever it was. But we definitely noticed a next level of joy in the school when the administrators were very present. So that was so interesting. And that just made us reflect on how important it is to connect with your employees and get to know them and to be present in their lives and just genuinely interested in them, and not just as an administrator, not just the teachers, but also to be present in the hallways, giving the students high fives, chatting with them, and just having some good conversation. It just seems to make a world of difference. And it's definitely something that we want to keep in mind when we get to the point of hiring. And another thing that we found very interesting, and again, this is just from our perspective, so who knows how someone else would feel about it. But when we stepped into classrooms that had stuff all over the walls, and it was just chaotic and a little bit crazy in terms of the amount of stuff everywhere, it just seemed like the whole classroom, teachers and students included, weren't quite as calm in those classrooms. But when we stepped into a classroom that was a little bit more bare, it just seemed that students were just calmer and more able to focus. So it's just so interesting to just notice how our external environment just affects our internal environment. And when things are really in order, it's it's easier for our brains to have things in order as well. And of course, we understand as teachers, you've got all these projects on the go. Therefore, there's all these different things everywhere, projects all over your classroom. And it's hard to find a spot to put those. But I don't know, is there a way that we can find a spot for these projects that's maybe out of sight a little bit, or I don't know. But I do know that when I had my own classroom and I would often do universal design for learning type centers and stuff, so sometimes there were just things all over my classroom. And as much as I tried to keep it contained and in order, sometimes I get it. It's so hard. But just overall, going into classrooms that were just more clean lines, less things on the walls, I guess, it just seemed to create a calmer atmosphere. So that was really interesting to see. I feel like I've used the word interesting a lot already. And another huge takeaway from our year that Kaylee and I were talking about was the fact that in our own classrooms, we always did activities around growth mindset. We taught kids what growth mindset versus fixed mindset means. We practiced having and developing our growth mindset. And for those of you who don't know, growth mindset simply means that We believe that we can continue creating new connections in our brain. We believe that we can always learn new things, that our brain is malleable. It's not that we have a fixed mindset where we think that the brain that we're born with is the brain that we have forever. We believe that it's ever changing and growing and expanding and developing. And it's such an important mindset to have. And actually, this year, in the past 10 months, Kaylee and I were talking about how we just learned so many new things. It's actually so crazy. So at the beginning, everything kind of, we were excited and stuff, but things also seemed very overwhelming. It was like, to begin, we had to create a website, and then we had to think and learn about how to create a website. We wanted to start creating audio guided mindfulness practices, but first we had to learn how to do it. We've just been learning so much, and it's super fun to observe ourselves, because at the beginning it was like we were kind of worried and nervous about all these new things that we had to learn. And as time went on, we just noticed that we were less and less nervous about learning new things. It's like new things would get thrown at us and we'd be like, oh yeah, I got this, like no problem, no worries. And now it's at the point where we're still learning new things every day. Like, for example, recently we learned how to edit video, which may seem simple to some, but we had never done that. So we just took on the challenge like champs, and we really put what we've been preaching to our students in the past year, we really put it into practice, and we realized that, when you have that mindset that you can just learn anything, you make it happen. And that's what we did this year. And it's just crazy, all of the stuff that we learned in just 10 months, and that we already have all of these plans to grow and expand Educalm. And we're just flowing with it now. It doesn't seem as scary as it did less than a year ago. And that's really because we chose to have the growth mindset, and it just helped us so much along the way. It was such a good reminder as to why we teach this in school. We are currently preparing students for jobs that we don't even know exist yet. So crazy. So by teaching them to have this growth mindset, they're going to be able to expand into anything they get thrown into or choose to do, no matter how out there it can seem to us from our generation's point of view. We're truly just preparing them for that. And we were so inspired by this conversation we were having about how much we've grown because of this growth mindset that we've taken on, that we decided to make that our next module in Educalm Classroom and Educalm Family subscription. For those of you who don't know about these are our two online subscriptions that we currently have. Obviously, Educalm Classroom, or École Educalm in French, is for teachers to use in their classrooms, and Educalm Family, or Famille Educalm, is for families to use at home. And so we were so inspired by this conversation that we had about growth mindset that we actually decided to make our next module about growth mindset. But as we were doing it, we couldn't stop thinking of ideas of things that we could include in it, that we decided to do 2 modules on growth mindset. So the first module should be out by the time that this podcast episode is up. And the next one should be up in the next couple of weeks. And we are so excited for these two modules. So a little bit about the first one coming out. We are teaching them to be proud of themselves for already having learned so much, to just be happy with where they are now and how far they've come. We teach them that they can learn anything as long as they set their minds to it. We also teach them how connections are formed in their brains. And then we teach them how they can overcome challenges in their lives using affirmations. And we also teach them how to create affirmations to help them with their growth mindset. I'm so excited for this module and the other one, which we'll talk about at a different time. And I kind of thought it would be nice to end our time together today by listening to the last meditation, the overcoming challenges in my life. So enjoy. Welcome to Educalm. Let's start our practice. First, sit in a position that feels comfortable to you today. There's no right way to sit, just choose what feels best for you. Now, choose if you want to close your eyes or keep them open. If you want to keep them open, choose to focus on the floor or on your feet. Today, we are going to practice overcoming challenges in our lives. Do what you feel comfortable trying. Take a break if you feel that you need to, and just listen to my voice. You can join back in whenever you are ready. Let's take a few deep, calming breaths together. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. Continue breathing deeply. Now, let your breath find its natural rhythm. In life, we often face challenges. This is a normal part of life, even though it's not always easy. Through these moments, we make new connections in our brains and we learn new things. Through these moments, we become stronger people, we grow and we develop ourselves, and we become better versions of ourselves. Take a moment to think of something in your life right now that's challenging. It can be anything at all. It can be an academic challenge, a challenge in your family or a friendship that you have, or an objective you have that hasn't yet been accomplished. Think of anything in your life right now that is presenting you with challenges. Now, let's practice learning how to feel calm and be comfortable with the challenges that we are currently facing by repeating this phrase in our minds. Where I am right now is perfect. I'm learning new things every day. Let's repeat. Where I am right now is perfect. I'm learning new things every day. Again. Where I am right now is perfect. I'm learning new things every day. Continue repeating this phrase in your head at your own pace. Where I am right now is perfect. I'm learning new things every day. Whenever you feel that it's hard to handle a challenge, or you're feeling big emotions when you think about it, you can use this phrase to help you calm your mind. Once your mind is calm and at ease, you can continue facing the challenge calmly as you overcome it. Having a growth mindset means knowing that you are learning new things every day. To end our practice, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale, exhale. Notice how that feels. Thank you for sharing your practice and your awesomeness with us today. And remember, you have the power to use the phrase, "Where I am right now is perfect. I'm learning new things every day." Anytime you are working towards overcoming challenges in your life. So that was the last of the 5 audio guided mindfulness practices in this module. I hope you enjoyed it. So what we are up to this week is we are going to continue working on part 2 of the growth mindset module, and we are going to keep working on our secret project, which we are so excited about. And in the meantime, if you haven't heard yet, now you know that next spring break, we are offering a yoga holiday trip. We partnered with Solstice Travel. We are going to Riviera Maya for spring break teachers. Unplug, unwind, and recharge. And those dates are from March 23rd to March 30th. And if you book now, you only have to put down a $150 deposit, and the balance isn't due until October. But even better, Solstice Travel is just so awesome and generous that she is having a contest. So the first 15 people who book their spring break adventure will be entered to win $75 off the total price of their holiday. So if you're gonna book, now's the time, because 1, you get the chance to win this contest, and 2, the deposit amount will go up very shortly. So if this is of interest to you, now's the time. We will put a link in the show notes for you. And other than that, I just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate you. We love chatting with you every week. It's just so fun connecting with you. And if you would like to connect with us after the show, you can connect with us on Instagram at Educalm. That's EDUCALME. And just a last shout out, a big thank you to everyone who's been leaving reviews. We absolutely love reading them. And also it helps other educators to find our podcast. So thank you. And may you all have the most amazing week. Have the most fun.